Hello, hello, hello. This is another episode of Solo No More. I'm your host, Catryce, and it's 2025. How wild is that? Now, with that being said, everyone on the internet is posting their vision boards and talking about the new year. And I want to kind of just speak on the notion of new year, new me, which I do not subscribe to at all. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the concept of new year, new me does not encapsulate the experience of what it's like to be human. And when January 1st rolls around every year, we're not starting from scratch. We're not starting fresh. And I think that this idea that new year, new me kind of, one puts a lot of pressure on us as a society to reinvent ourselves every year, to look at how can I be a different person, a new version of myself. And to a certain degree, yes. By the time December 31st rolls around, we are not the same exact person that we were on January 1st. But that doesn't mean that we are a brand spanking new person. Not in the slightest. It means that we've had new experiences, we've made new memories, and it's really just added to the layers of who we are, and it's stacking upon the person that already is. We aren't starting from scratch. We aren't starting from the very beginning of the race. We are not at the starting line. We are starting at mile marker 10 or mile marker 27. Who knows? It just depends on how long the race is for you. Uh, that sounds a little morbid, but truly at the end of the day, it's like we don't know when the race ends, but we aren't going right back to the starting line at the start of every single year. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And I think that ultimately when we're looking at our businesses, when we look at a new year, I find that a lot of my clients are looking at what new thing can I come up with? What new thing is bright and shiny and will attract the attention of more clients, which will mean more money and those types of things. And as you're looking at 2025, as you're planning out your year, and let's be honest, January is yes, I believe in setting your goals and starting to work towards them at the beginning, not at the beginning, but at the end of a year versus right at the beginning. But we're still kind of figuring things out in January. If you started the year and you were like, okay, I want to try some new routines, you're figuring out what that really feels like, what actually works for you, what doesn't. And so I think now is still a great time to kind of talk about what we look at for the next year. What are we wanting to get out of this year? And I want to tell you that ultimately the success in your business is going to be determined by you, but it's going to be compounding on the success and the strengths that you've already acquired over the time of you working in your business. It's not going to be starting from square one again. You're not building a brand new business. And when you're thinking about your offers and the launches, I challenge you to look back at past offers that maybe you set aside because you were like, oh, I need to come up with something new, something shiny. It was the offer, it was the product that was making it to where I wasn't making money. And I challenge you to re-explore that. I challenge you to relaunch. Something that I've learned over the course of my time as an entrepreneur is that when you start from scratch on an offer, when you are really stunting your ability to grow. Every time you have a flop or a failed launch and you decide to pivot and just offer something new the next time you launch, you are making it harder on yourself because ultimately at the end of the day, you then have to re-educate people on this offer. You have to gain trust around this offer. And yes, there's this idea of building a personal brand and people trusting you, but at the end of the day, how can someone trust you when every single time they look at your account, you're posting about a new offer? Just some food for thought, something that I wanted to just kind of, mention, because I think that, I've heard from my clients, I've heard and seen people post about it online, launching new offers this year. And yeah, I'm going to be launching new offers this year because I opened a new business. I am kind of starting from scratch. But when you've had an established business, I'm not going to Captured Media and being like, okay, we're going to scrap Evergreen Support Network and we're going to come out with something new. And even looking at Hold My Mimosa, I'm not starting fully from scratch. I am going to be relaunching, and I already am kind of soft launching Solopreneur Sidekick, which was a Captured Media offer that then is transitioning over under the Hold My Mimosa umbrella. But the thing with that, and one of the reasons I decided to keep Solopreneur Sidekick, because at one point I thought I was going to just dox the whole program, is that I've already built some trust around it. I've already done some educating around it. It's already something that people are familiar with. And so it gives me a good foundation to build upon from there. But the thing is that with Evergreen Support Network, yes, there are going to be things that I add to Captured Media, but at the core of it, I'm going to continue relaunching this program, refining that launch strategy, because I can take the data from those launches and apply them to other offers. That's the thing that I think that a lot of people miss, is that when you are launching new offer after new offer and you're just trying the same launch method over and over and over again, and you're not getting the results you want, one, that's called insanity. If you are doing something over and over and over again and expecting different results, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. But the thing with the offers and your launching is the fact that, like, at the end of the day, when you relaunch and you tweak some things, you're able to collect more data. You're able to figure out what's working, what's not. So then the next launch you can do better. And once you refine that on one single offer, then it's way easier to replicate that on other offers because you know what works. And you also, and then let me caveat that. You know what works, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for the new offer, but you have a really good foundation for yourself based off of knowledge of your ideal client, off of your audience, off of what has performed well, the data that you've collected versus starting from scratch. But really, ultimately, with this episode, I'm wanting to kind of just really nail in the fact that at the start of a new year, we don't have to start completely from scratch. We are not at the beginning of the race, especially when it comes to being a business owner. We're not all starting back at square one. We're not all trying to, like, it's not like we all just decide to go start new Instagram accounts. We're all like, oh, January 1st, got to make a new Instagram, or January 1st, got to delete, December 31st, have to delete all of our content so we can start fresh on January 1st. No, we are creating a upgraded version of ourselves, an upgraded, more elevated version of our business. And really, truly, the thing is that with success, you have to build upon a foundation. And so look at 2024 as a foundational year. What lessons did you learn? What were the big takeaways? What really worked? What didn't? And how can you build upon that? That's all that I have for you today. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks for tuning in.